Yo, what's poppin'? It's Tommathan. I am going to be doing my first and second team All-Stars for the 5th season of the Overwatch League. This is kind of different from Role Stars because it's not just 4 players I thought did well in their role. It's putting them onto a team environment. I'm filling some boxes in here. So, a little different, but still very enjoyable to me, and I don't know, I'm a big fan of it. So, I'm just going to get right into it and start off with the Flex Support because I kind of organized these columns like Flex Support, Main Support, Hit Scan, Flex DPS, and Tank. So, starting off Flex Support, Shu was just the answer, right? How could you not put Shu here? You can't. It has to be Shu. So, it's kind of a gimme. Doesn't really make sense but anyone else. He's just been so talented and everything. Yeah, you can question maybe Brigitte, because considering the Summer Showdown, how he didn't play, that's the only question mark you can ever put on him. But to be fair, literally every other Flex Support would have been benched for Funny Astro Skewed, so I can't really hold that against him. Every other player in that role would have been benched as well. So they just don't have the money bags and the talent depth as the Gladiators do. So it's not really on him. And then another easy one. Actually, I'll go over to the main support. And I was going to go over... Actually, yeah, I'll go over the main support. It's fine. So I am considering a few names right now. I'm considering Chio. I'm considering Vindane. I'm considering Charong. Yeah, maybe I'll put my list right here. There, and you can see who I'm considering. Considering these 3 mostly. There's Funny Astro in the back of my mind. There's Lige Gon in the back of my mind. Same as Violet. Those guys are all in the back. Even Lastro I'm considering, but for me it's between Chio Vindame the most, and I think I'm going with Vindame just because I value his flexibility. His Zenyatta looked great. Is better at the Brigitte, and Chio maybe is a little bit better at Lucio, and maybe that is what he'll be playing most of the time. But I think that little extra flexibility that Vindame offers, and it's not like he's much worse at the Lucio. I just think I value Vindame just a little bit more. If this was a strictly a Lucio role, Chio would win. Funny Astro would maybe win, but Chio would win, I think. So that looks like a pretty scary support line. Shu Vindame to start off. Very solid. And then next gimme is kind of going to be Proper for me because I did rate Proper as my MVP. Not like the popularity vote really matters, but Proper is my MVP. He's edging a Kevster, who would be the obvious next best. And I could put Kevster in. I'm very, very considering it, but I think I will not put Kevster in. There's also my urge to just slot in Choice A1. That's very real. Yeah, Choice A1 is very real. And I'm also considering Profit in the back of my mind for maybe some Brigitte stuff, and I can put Profit as a 6, because I don't have to do 2 tanks. It's just kind of easier if I do. Because then you also have my Roll Star, so it's like both. But I don't think I'll do that. I think I'll put a Hit Scan in, and I'm considering Shy, a Merit, Sparker, and then 3, maybe even Lip, Isu. Not really Kai. I'm not considering Kai that much, to be honest. I'm considering Hydron a little bit. But I think, to me, the most consistent and highest performing hit scan has been Lip. I feel like it's very hard to snub Lip off this list, like, unless you're just running 4 Flex DPS, which is valid. Flex DPS has been super stacked this season. It kind of has to be Lip. Right off the get-go, on the Soldier, he was looking great. Kai can't say the same. His Soldier is looking pretty sluggish. So there's a stage of mediocrity from Kai, even though the rest were very good. A lot of other Soldier ones had very good stages. So that actually does impact my decision for if I want to put Kai here or not. Well, I just think Lip's been too good. And it's not like Shanghai have been tearing it up. Like, there are points where... Well, okay, Shanghai have been tearing it up. But there were points there where it felt like Lip was their only shooter. And that's very impressive considering how well Shanghai finished. So I'm going to go with Lip. I think he makes sense there. And then the tanks. I think the obvious ones are there's Smurf, and there's Hanbin. And how do I want to do this? Do I want to just slot Smurf in? If I slot Smurf in, I could maybe put Profit in over here or something just to give them a little extra oomph on the DPS line and give them that. So I think that would be valid. I think that's valid. But I think Hanbin is too good to say no, and then Smurf fills in those holes too nicely. Like this team has no real weakness. You can say, yeah, Shu didn't play the Brig, but we don't know if he doesn't have a Brig. I'd say he'd probably be okay at it. You see some other guys like Finn was great, Iziaki was great, Fielder was great, Twilight was phenomenal. I'm not too worried about that. And also, you have Hanbin to balance that out because Hanbin is just the best Junker Queen, so I wouldn't be too worried about that. For me, I guess it's not fair to write about what we haven't seen from Shu also, but it's not fair to give him the benefit of the doubt. So it's just kind of like a hole, a gaping hole. Um, but yeah, this is going to be my first team All Star. I think it's very hard to take any of these guys off the list at all. Like it's just impossible. I feel. And like for actual role stars, you could argue you're not going to give it to any main supports, but I think Vindame definitely deserves it. So I like this. I think this is good. Also, mid support and flex support are kind of fizzled out. Like Vindame did play a good amount of Zen, an amount of Zen. Someone has to play Lucia, right? And he did it damn well. So this looks like my first team All Star. Before I do my second team All Star, I would like to say you should put down who you have as your first and second team All Stars in the chat below. I'm very interested to see what you guys are cooking because my second team All Star could go off the rails. I'm not entirely sure. It'd be very hard to go off the rails, I think, though. So I'm going to start off with tanks again. And now I'm still before it was easy. Hanbin and Smurf, top two, undisputed top two tanks. But now you have to consider, is Hawk there? Do you actually want to put Punk there? How much do you value that? Gaga's had some pretty good Winston performances. All these guys have had some good performances. So they kind of merit some consideration. But the top of the top for me starts with Punk, or not Punk, Hawk, Bernard. Someone deserves some consideration. Dante for how well he's played that Doomfist. You can argue Hottie. I don't really think so. Reiner, Kaluge. These are like the main prospects I'm considering, and then kind of Hottie as well if you want to, but not really for me. So these are like my main prospects for my tanks. I think it is just Hawk though. I think Hawk's been very consistent throughout the season. He's been benching Gator. He's been super flexible. One of the after Smurf, probably the most flexible tank. Yeah, I think that's fair. We've seen some Winston from him. We've seen some Ryan, a little bit of everything. We can't say that about everyone else. And then when it comes to the next ones, it's kind of hard because Reiner was kind of that front runner up until the Junker Queen meta. And then his Junker Queen wasn't actually that good. So, whereas Kaluge has an elite Sigma, and everything else is looking, well, I would say pretty much above average. But Dante's interesting too. I feel like Reiner's the easy answer. I feel like Reiner's the easy answer here, right? Looking at everyone else. So it's like it's kind of boring though, yeah. But I don't know who else it could be. Like someone has had a bit of up and downs. Let me put them all back. Someone has had some up and down. Why did I do that? They're going forward again. Someone has had some ups and downs, right? There's been times where he's kind of been feeding and then he gets it together. And Florida's been like that kind of team where it's like, what's going on? So besides Hawk, who was going there, it looks to me like Reiner's the easy answer, and I think I will go with Reiner. Like, yeah, he has that one little blemish on that one stage, but he also has 2 titles. I think the 2 titles kind of outweigh the little blemish because there were people believing that Reiner was the best tank through the first half of the season, like just straight up the best. So I think it's fair to put him as a role star, and that's a little lame, but that's how it is. A little sad I don't get to put my Bernard enjoyment in, but whatever. Now going over to the DPS, Kevster is easy to put in. Kevster is very easy to put in. Because he's been behind proper. Now I am very hesitant. I am very eager to put in choice A1. Like I really would love to put choice A1 here, but Kevster makes it very difficult to do that. So I think I will hold off just for now because my choice A1 belief can only the hopium can only go so far. Now, I could take Reiner off of this list and just say he is my other role star, and then put Choice A1 in. Maybe I do that. I'll keep you posted on that. But I'll leave the flex support as it is for now, and I will go over to the hit scan. So I already talked about a lot of these hit scans. A lot of them look really good, but my choice is going to be Shy. So here's the thing: perhaps the greatest carry performances we have seen this season on Shy. He has the highest deadlift percentage on a winning map, I believe, like or a winning match or something. It's something like that. He's just insane. Spark are lost without him. It is put everything into Shy and hope he wins. And that's how they got in the playoffs. That's how they made it through the play-ins. That's how they made it deep into the midseason madness. And you know what? It did not work. Or they stopped doing it, actually. I'd say they stopped doing it in the other two stages as much. And it just didn't work. So they got to go back to what works and see what they can do in this playoff. So I'm going to go with Shy. Now, Sparker's a good shout. There's a lot of good shouts here. I'm going with Shy. That's me. And next for the supports. Well, I was really between Chio and Vindame, so Chio's the easy one to put in. Chorong, maybe. Lee J gone, maybe. But I think Chio's been too good. He'd kind of be a snub at that point to not put Chio in. I think Vindame and Chio pretty equally deserve it. And then the final flex support here. Okay. So I'm thinking between Fielder and Finn right now, is what my main thought process is. Izayaki is right there as well. But I think I'm actually going to go with Finn. Finn has looked pretty damn good a lot of the time this season. There's been some moments where it's like, man, he got a little over aggressive. Something's not quite right there. But I think Finn makes sense to me. I was thinking about Twilight a little bit too, but Twilight kind of underperformed that first half of the season, and then he looked really good on the break, and then he underperformed again. At least up to the standards of like a Finn or a Fielder or anything like that. So it looks like Finn for me, and this looks a lot more boring than I would have liked. This is a pretty boring list, I will be honest, but it looks pretty real. So I think that's just what I'm going with. I'm very disappointed I can't put the choice I wanted. Now let me think. If I'm a team, do I actually want to pick up a Reiner here? If this is not caring about role stars, is Reiner actually my sixth? Let me consider this for a moment. You have Sojourn, you have your Kevster. Is there a merit to getting to being able to run a Tracer Genji, a Tracer Sombra, a Genji Sombra, or anything like that? Because yeah, Shai can play the Sombra. You don't see the Tracer very often from him. So if it wasn't Shai here, who would it be? Would it be Choice A1? I think it would be Choice A1, or who are you? So in the end, I'm just going to leave it. I think I'm just going to leave it. I think it makes sense to put Reiner in. I think it makes sense. Okay. Sorry about that. Sorry for the bait on that one. Not going to be exciting. I could do a third team all-star. That feels like it's a little bit overdoing it, though. So I'm just going to stop here. Let me know your thoughts on this video. Let me know your first and second team all-star. Like this video. If you do like it, subscribe for more daily Overwatch League content. I will have some off-season stuff as well, I plan to. So I'll see if I can do that with a little content. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Deuces.